I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, the head coach for JobSearch.Coaching.HQ.com and others. And the question I received, well, I answered it last week, was, is it possible to find a job when you're over 60? But this question today is really the follow-up. How do you find a job when you're over 60? And I think it really comes down to the fact that networking is really the way that people find work these days. And thus, when you think about networking, LinkedIn is really the ideal tool, but not the way that you're thinking of. See, I want to acknowledge that ageism exists. I know it exists, and maybe not to the degree that people think it does, but it certainly exists. It exists both ways, but we're dealing with someone who's over 60. So what do you use LinkedIn for? Answer: since networking is the way that you're going to probably find work, what you're looking for are organizations who have hired people who look like you, who are you. And thus, what you're doing is identifying organizations that you'd like to work for and starting to look at the profiles and backgrounds of the people who work there to see whether there are over 60 workers there. Now, clearly there are going to be people who are under 60, and clearly there are going to be people in their 20s and 30s. We know this already. But are there people who have worked there recently or currently who are at your age? And thus, what you'll want to do is reach out to them and do some networking. Even if they left there a few years ago, they still fit a similar profile. How did you find it working there? I notice you're not 24, you're more like my age. And thus, what was it like working there? How did you find your position there? I see that you worked there for 3 years. Who are you reporting to? Your background and mine are pretty similar. How would you suggest I gain entry into the organization? And obviously you could do that with people who are currently there, which is really ideal. You do a search for people with your background who work at particular organizations, reach out to them, talk with them. It's an informational interview, just like you've done a million times before. Now, I want to be clear. When I talk to job hunters who are looking for solutions to their situation, they want something that works every time. Sorry, this one doesn't. No technique works every time. But this is really the best way, since 70% of jobs are filled as a result of networking, and 70% of the 70%, or almost half, are filled as a result of introductions or relationships that you develop with people that you didn't know at the beginning of your search. So you've got to get past your comfort zone and talk to strangers. And the ideal stranger is someone who's like you, who is your age or a general contemporary, who has worked in an organization that you're targeting. And to speak with them, ideally if they work there, but at least recently, about who you might try contacting, not in HR. Try to avoid HR. Go to hiring managers directly and see if you can network your way into a firm. That's really going to be your best way. And as you interview, you want to proactively raise the subject of age and talk about situations in your past. As you answer questions, you tell stories where you indicate you reported to someone who was less experienced than you and were a great support person for them, that you're not trying to take over any place, and that what you're looking for is an organization you can put down roots in. Hope you find this helpful. And again, I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter from JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. If you're interested in one-to-one coaching, reach out to me by email at jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. Hope you have a great day. Take care.